Shalom, shalom, Israel. Shalom, peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom to all the men and women who are rehearsing the righteous acts. Shalom to you. Before we get started, I want to give all praises, all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who are preaching and teaching this truth with humility and sincerity across the four corners of the world to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indigenous of the America. Okay, so today's video, I might have a certain meme up. I might not put it in. We'll see. But I think I might name it, Esau, these Edomites are running away from their cowboy hat. Okay. They are running away scared from their cowboy hat because prophecy is being fulfilled daily. And it doesn't matter what they say, what kind of advice they get, prophecy has to take its place. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and play this little video real quick.
Mistake about it, we are at Make no mistake about it, we are at war with Iran right now. The United States of America is. Donald Trump has betrayed MAGA, betrayed America first. He has made the most disastrous decision to lead America into another war. Donald Trump telling him to come back to the negotiating table now is a joke. I mean, what a impotent leader to be sitting there talking about coming back to the negotiating table. It's like sitting after Pearl Harbor and telling FDR, now's the time to go negotiate with the Japanese. Negotiations are over now. The time for negotiations was before this. And so, yeah, Donald Trump looks, and man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one. And not on some like not on some ridiculous Nancy Pelosi. Of course, the Congress will never do it because they're all a bunch of, corrupt hacks.
This is the one thing they support. This is like
Donald Trump should be impeached and removed for this. All of his supporters should turn on him. It's the absolute betrayal of everything that he ran and campaigned on and everything that he stood for. And I will say, despite the fact that, Donald Trump supporters have been labeled like a cult following, and that certainly is true for a percentage of his supporters, he is going to lose his coalition over this. I know I don't just speak for myself when I say there are a lot of us who simply will not go along with this. Make no mistake.
Okay, as you heard these Edomites there, crying and worried, talking about, he wants to, go back to the negotiation table. It's too late. Prophecy is being fulfilled. It ain't nothing they could negotiate their way out of this. They can't use them buttery words they love to use, right? People ain't falling for that no more. Esau has been made bare. Okay, the whole world knows the wicked, evil, abominable things that it loves to do here in Babylon the Great. Okay, so there's no negotiation. Okay, that you could come up with when the prophecy of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is unfolding literally in front of their eyes. And as you see, they are very scared, as they should be. They're terrified. They don't want no parts of any type of war with these other nations. Okay? Just like you heard him say, I think it was here, and then he claimed he had, it even backpedaling, talking about, sorry for doing this. I made a mistake. I miscalculated. Well, it's too late. It's too late. It's too late. Okay, let's get started here. Jeremiah 50 and 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he had taken against Babylon. Okay, and as we know, this is spiritual Babylon here in America. Okay, it's spiritual Egypt and Sodom and now Babylon. Okay, and his purposes that he had proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Okay, and the Chaldeans, we know clearly that they are Edomites as well. Just like Jacob has his 12 tribes, collectively they're all Israelites. Well, the Chaldeans, the Greeks, the European nations, though they are Edomites. Okay. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Okay. And the least of the flock is another Edomite right there that is talking about. It's talking about the Amalekites. They're the least, the smallest of the flock. Okay. Shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Okay. So the word draw there means to, kind of reel in, like you're drawing waters from a well. That's exactly what it's referring to. Whether they like it or not, they're going to be drawn in. And that's why you see these Edomites over here, just freaking out, being scared, right? They don't want no parts of it. But they don't have a problem when they have the upper hand on, Jake, right? To the point where Jake is defenseless, with no weapons. They love putting on that cowboy hat. But now that shit's getting real, they are literally running away from their cowboy hat. They don't want to put on that cap no more, huh? They don't want to put on that cowboy hat. Well, it's too late, and it's too little for negotiations. It's way too late for that. Let's go over here to as we read right here, taken against Babylon. And Babylon, we know, is here in America. Let's go to Revelation 17:5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Okay, she is the mother of harlots. Okay, of all the abominations of the earth. Okay, and that's exactly to a T describing here America. Okay, that is the name written, and she's not a mystery anymore. The men of the Lord, all the apostles and elders in the last 50 years have been prophesizing that this is Babylon the Great, and the third woe is going to be because of Babylon here, and Salakia, because of the small hats over there that are going to draw in Babylon into this world war, as you're hearing this guy here panically speaking, right? And to the point where they're backpedaling, talking about, no, I regret voting for this dude. Yeah, but you was okay when they were speaking about white supremacy and coming after defenseless families that have no weapons, have no system of government to protect them, right? You were okay with that. You were Billy Badass with the cowboy hat then, right? And when you got your gun and you're pulling over Jake for no reason, just because he's a so-called black man, and and throwing a bunch of charges on him because you couldn't find the real criminal out there, using that as a weapon, weaponizing the so-called black community out there, right? And we say so-called because that's not who they are. Okay, that was a name that was given unto them, by these wicked white supremacists. Okay, black is a term that's used to put a low vibration on them, which means a void of light, right? Darkness, filthy, totally opposite of who they truly are, which is the Jews, the true Yahawada. Okay, that's Hebrew for Judah, right? The true Judahs from the Bible, the true Hebrew Israelites. Okay, and their brethren, the Israelites, the Northern Kingdom, the so-called Hispanics and Native Indigenous of the America. Okay, and also there are speckled birds out there that look like those from other nations. Okay, but their lineage goes back to Negro, Latino, or Native Indigenous, which goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, so let's go over here, back to here, Jeremiah 50:45, and his purposes that he had proposed against the land of the Chaldeans, right? The Chaldeans, which are Edomites, the Greeks, Edomites. Okay, let's go here. Obadiah, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, hence will I bring thee down, said the Lord. right? And we know this is talking about the Edomites, right? This is the book of Obadiah 1 and 4. Let's go to Obadiah 1 and 1, the vision of Obadiah, right? Edom will be humbled. And that's exactly what you're seeing right now. These guys are backpedaling. You know, you see all these ridiculous ass people on social media. All of a sudden, they're experts when it comes to the apocalypse now and the book of Revelations. When the men, the true followers, beginning with the apostles and elders from Great Millstone, have been speaking on these things for the last 50 years. Okay, so it's funny how these clowns getting on there on social media talking about, yeah, this is part of prophecy. They want to hearken into that part. But I got news for you. You can't hearken into just one book and disregard the other books, right? Just like you know this to be actual and factual, guess what? The mother books are 100% factual as well. Okay? But they wouldn't understand that because they don't have the gift. That wasn't given unto them. They don't have the Rahak Wadash. Okay? That gift was given into the chosen nation of Yasharala. Okay? The true Hebrew ancient name of Israel, Yasharala. Okay? The true Hebrew Israelites, which consist of those Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indigenous of the America. Okay? Which are known by those titles that were given by their oppressors. Because before that, they were named something else. But their true biblical nationality is Yasharala. Okay? The vision of Obadiah does said the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Okay? And that's exactly what's going on. All these nations are rising up, you know, getting ready to go to battle with this scarlet harlot over here, you know. Okay. I think it's just in, let's go to Revelations 18. Okay, Revelations 18 and 3. For all nations have drunken of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Okay, so this is the judgment that's coming down on Babylon and the Edomites, all the Edomites. Okay, not just the ones here in Babylon, right? The small hats, etc. Right? For all they have drunken of the wine of the wrath, right? And that wine of the wrath is the wrath of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, he gave her the wrath of indignation, that cup, and she drank every drop of it, right? The wrath of her fornication, the kings in the earth have committed fornication with her, along with her. All these other wicked heathen nations will get dealt with as well. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Okay, this is why judgment's coming here. If you're crying about why us? What did we do? Okay, you did plenty. Let's see what you did here. Revelations 18 and 5. For her sins have reached unto the heavens, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities. Right? Okay. Let's go to 18 and 7. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen, and no man, and no Salaki, and no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Right? Being very proud, talking about she ain't gonna see no sorrow, right? But that's not the case. Judgment is coming. Because if you could, let's read here Revelations 18 and 6. Read her. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she had filled, fill to her double. And that cup is talking about the wrath of indignation of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. The wrath of the Lord himself, okay, is coming upon her. Just like the wrath came upon us and we drank the cup of the wrath of indignation of the Lord. I'm referring to the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indigenous of the America, right? We have drank the cup, but now it's her turn, and she will be given double for what she did to our nation. Okay, this is what's getting ready to happen, right? Let's go here to Habakkuk 2 and 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establish a city by iniquity. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establisheth a city by iniquity. Okay, and that's exactly this whole empire of the Edomites they have done. They have built a whole empire, not just a town, with blood, and not just any blood, the blood of the chosen nation of Yasharallah. Okay, the Hebrew Israelites, the blood of the Israelites. Okay, that's why she's going to get double. Okay, let's go to this precept real quick. Numbers 35 and 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein you are, for blood it defiles the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that sheddeth it. Okay? But by the blood of him that shed it. Okay, we know it's talking about Esau, Edom. They have shed genocide after genocide, right? And that's why the wrath of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua is coming upon her, right? And that's why it says, give unto her double. Double. Okay? Give unto her double. Revelations 18 and 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Okay, and that's exactly what it is out here. A bunch of hateful devils out here. Okay, degenerate, reprobate Edomites out here. Okay, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils. And that's exactly what it's become. And that's why Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai is bringing the wrath on her and giving unto her double. Okay. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and shut it off there. But before I go, I'm going to give all praises, all glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who are preaching and teaching this truth with humility and sincerity across the four corners of the world, these so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indigenous of the America, and the speckled bird that are amongst those nations that look like those from those heathen nations, but their lineage goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as well. Okay, we'll go ahead and play this one last time. In case you didn't hear the first round.
Mistake about it. We are at Make no mistake about it, we are at war with Iran right now. The United States of America is. Donald Trump has betrayed MAGA, betrayed America first. He has made the most disastrous decision to lead America into another war. Donald Trump telling him to come back to the negotiating table now is a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, what a impotent leader to be sitting there talking about coming back to the negotiating table. It's like sitting after Pearl Harbor and telling FDR, now's the time to go negotiate with the Japanese.
Right.
Negotiations are over now. The time for negotiations was before this. And so, yeah, Donald Trump looks, and man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one.
Wow.
And not on some not on some ridiculous Nancy Pelosi. Of course, the Congress will never do it because they're all a bunch of corrupt hacks.
This is the one thing they support. This is like
Donald Trump should be impeached and removed for this. All of his supporters should turn on him. It's the absolute betrayal of everything that he ran and campaigned on and everything that he stood for. And I will say, despite the fact that, Donald Trump supporters have been labeled like a cult following, and that certainly is true for a percentage of his supporters, he is going to lose his coalition over this. I know I don't just speak for myself when I say there are a lot of us who simply will not go along with this. Make no mistake.
Well, you heard it yourself right there, backpedaling Edomites right there, these guys, they are silly as hell, man. And, their own mouths slice themselves up, man. He even admitted it. And yeah, there is a good white portion of supremacists of whatever term he used of crazy individuals, a good portion of them that support him, but it doesn't matter. They still did it, right? They still are going to follow their cult leader, right? So there you go, man. That's how they discern things. They don't care as long as they're okay. A very selfish, very prideful spirit. These Edomites, at the end of the day, all they care about is themselves and their kingdom. Okay. So with that being said, I'm out.